Good morning and welcome to the GRIPeq 41st Annual Kansas City Wide Open presented by Dynamic Discs. This is a Silver Series stop on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and I'm your host, Craig Caswell. I'm joined this morning in the virtual commentary gantry by none other than 5-time FPO World Champion and 6-time Kansas City Wide Open Champion, Juliana Korver. Juliana, it's an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Craig.
Our current conditions here on the course in Kansas City, a little bit cooler than it was last week at the Preserve. Looking like the rain might hold off, but definitely want to knock on wood for that, for the dry conditions. And good morning. As I said, my name is Craig Caswell. Juliana Korver is with us this morning. Juliana, what can we expect from the Bad Rock Creek Disc Golf Course this morning?
You know, I got to play this course for the first time on Monday of this week, and I loved the course. It has so much variety. There are beautiful rolling hills. We have shots that are out in the open that are surrounded by OB. We have tightly wooded shots. We have shots that combine both of them. I think that we're in for a treat here. And I'm actually a little bit disappointed that I don't get to play this one myself.
In conversations with players to include Allie Smith, she's talked about the course conditions out here being as something that maybe favors someone who can hit their lines, hit their accuracy, hit their marks a little bit better. As we see Allie Smith, she's had a number of successful tournaments recently. She's been playing extremely well with kind of that unique loft putt there. A fun fact about Allie Smith, she's actually a Kansas City native, a native, in fact, of Liberty, Missouri, the location of this week's event. Allie grew up here in Liberty and actually taught math at the local high school and is well familiar with this course, on which she's played over 250 rounds. So she's pretty familiar with the course this morning. She's pretty familiar with the Kansas City area, and she told me in conversations with her this morning that she'll be looking to go ahead and score low.
She has been playing very well this year, and she has been rising in the ranks as well as with her rating. I think she's gained over 30 points in the last year. She is the 2021 AM World Champ, and that's really what put her on the scene, and she's making the best of it on tour, and she's really doing a great job.
Yeah, she absolutely is. She told me yesterday that she found BRC to be a beautiful mix of these distance and wooded holes that are here to really challenge the well-rounded player. Speaking of well-rounded players, here's our current standings in the DGBT Pro Series standings. As we take a look at Allie Smith, there she is walking to the tee.
One advantage that Allie and actually Holland will have as well on this course is they have both spins. They both throw very good backhand and forehand shots, which will come in to play on this course.
Yeah, it seems the utility of game and especially a focus on placement shots is going to be especially critical this week. As we look at the overall DGPT point standings, Holland Handley in the field today moved up a spot after the Preserve to 4th place and is right in the thick of it there, JK.
Yeah, she sure is. Holland has been playing very consistently as far as her placement this year, and it seems like it's a matter of time before she gets her first wind.
Looking down the board a bit further, we see Allie Smith, as we discussed, Liberty, Missouri native, looking to score well here this week, as well as Emily Beach, who's also in our field today, as well as Deanne Carey, who we'll see shortly on our second feature card.
One last thing, ladies. You are going to have a marshal that is going to walk with you. That marshal is Caswell. He is here in the yellow shirt and yellow hat.
Hopefully I don't talk to any of you all day. That's my goal.
That's your goal. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to hole 1. We are live on the box for the 9:05 tee time in the FPO division. First up, from Canyon Lake, Texas, representing Lone Star Disc, Lisa Bacon.
Lisa landing left, might be a little pinched by that tree, but that seems like the place to be.
This is a blind tee because of the drastic elevation drop. Excellent placement by Emily. You can see that tall grass, that is all out of bounds, so they do need to clear that.
Third on the box, representing DGA from right here in Kansas City, Missouri, Allie Smith.
Plenty of local love for Allie Smith.
Right at the water's edge. Looks like that is inbounds.
I talked to Vanessa last night, JK. She's really looking forward to playing this more technical course this week. Definitely suits her game a bit more.
This is a very fun course to play.
You're in full auto, that's why.
Have a good round.
All right, Juliana,
Hole 1.
walk us through hole 1.
Sure, hole 1, it's 575 feet. It's a par 4. You have 35 feet of elevation lost to begin with. It's a beautiful starting hole. You can see that you've got tall grass on both the right and the left side. Here is your landing zone, provided that you're not behind the tree where the drop zone is or that line of trees on the left. You should have an open shot towards the basket, but that doesn't mean it's an easy one. The inbounds is only 15 feet in front of the basket. It drops off by about 8 feet behind the basket, making it tough to get very close to this pin.
We're going to take a look now at the live leaderboard. Still early these days, but it seems like the course is definitely playing tough in the early going.
There are a lot of scoring opportunities, but they're definitely not easy ones, as we'll see as we go through the day. Players must end up on top of that wall to be safe.
Oh, is it? Yeah, there's a cap to the short. Oh, okay.
This is a hard green to go straight at. It would be easier to have a hyzer shot coming in, which of course is going to be hard for Emily, who is a lefty.
What's the distance to clear the pond here, JK?
It's mid to high 200s, depending on how close you are to the edge of the water. So it's definitely reachable by everybody, but it's getting the height correct, because you don't want to be too high or you'll end up going way past the basket behind.
It definitely seems like height an issue here for these ladies in the early going.
Vanessa's in a very nice location. Plenty of height. She's inside the circle. Good approach.
Good approach, good tree.
You really do need to err on the side of caution there and throw it a little bit harder. So on this hole, any shot from the tee that goes OB will go to the drop zone, but all other out of bounds shots play as normal out of bounds.
Emily Beach a little long with her fourth, but gets it up there.
Fantastic drive by Allie, getting as far as she possibly can in the landing zone.
She'll be safe as well. How's that lie looking back there, JK?
I think she's fine. I really doubt that she's going to go for that. That's got a little bit of a ceiling, I believe, so she can't use her loft putt to get above the basket to get in, but should easily take a par. And that's wide open to the pin. But again, you got OB 15 feet behind the basket from that vantage point.
Definitely a gorgeous green as we see the card walking up.
That's for sure. It's amazing how much work went into building this green.
Getting cozy with that brush. Doesn't bother Emily Beach. She's going to put it right underneath.
Disheartening start for Emily.
Allie also playing it safe, putting it under, looking for her par. Definitely flexing a little bit of that local knowledge with the way that she played.
Nice little attempt that didn't go too far past.
Vanessa just low on the birdie bid, but she'll be able to tap in for par. Unfortunate there, perhaps a little bit of nerves, JK?
Yeah, this is a tough starting hole. I think she was a little disappointed that she didn't get the birdie. She was close enough that she was probably expecting it.
Taking a look at Holland Handley warming up. She's on our feature card, which will be up next after a short break. You're watching the GRIPeq Kansas City Wide Open right here on Disc Golf Network.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, we're in Liberty. We had an amazing time. Yeah, I'll send you some photos now. The facilities were great, and the weather was gorgeous. You'd be so proud. They played hard. We got great food afterwards and went through a museum. Of course, they wanted a treat, and they wore themselves out at the pool. It's been a really great weekend. You'll have to join us next time.
Trilogy Challenge is back, y'all. You get 3 discs,
the Retro Orbit Pure,
Tournament Ice Orbit Warship,
Fusion Ice Orbit Vandal. Are you ready to hit the course with these 3 discs?
and go check out thrillerchallenge.com.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Should have brought some snacks.
I got you.
Ah!
I got you. I got you. I got you.
Oh, Karen, do you know where hole 17 is?
I got you!
Is that a compass? Karen, why do you have this?
Ethan, just help me. We gotta get this set up.
Okay.
It's getting dark.
Disc golf education is important because it prolongs the length of our sport and the popularity of our sport, and the most receiving of disc golf is children. So if we get that introduced to them young, they might grow up to be the next Paul Macbeth or the next Paige Pierce, and we don't know it.
Allie Smith with the drive on hole 2.
Players have to throw out of a gap onto a steeple-shaped island.
Allie makes a pretty good run at it.
Yeah, it's only 204 feet away, but there is 20 feet of elevation gain.
Thanks to the Disc Golf Network bringing us this coverage for free on YouTube. Both MPO and FPO streaming free on YouTube today. Thanks again, Disc Golf Network. We are here in Kansas City, Liberty, Missouri, in fact, enjoying the KC Wide Open. Thanks to everyone watching on YouTube. Please be sure to tune in to DGN later on this weekend for our second and third rounds. Holland Handley, as we see here getting ready to tee off on hole 1 momentarily, has had a fantastic season thus far. She seems to be right on the precipice of success, JK. When is the time that she is going to finally break through and get that first DGPT win?
Well, I kind of worry that so many people are saying that in front of her, to her, adjacent to her. I hope that that's not putting too much pressure on her, but I really think that this might be her weekend. If she can get past local Allie, she is the highest rated player in the division, and she has been playing just really, really well this year with 4 podium finishes already. And her aggressive play means that she has so many highlights every time we see her play, just like this one right here.
Yeah, we're seeing some of these highlights from Holly or from Holland rather, and it seems like Holland has cashed, I believe, in every DGPT event that she's played thus far this season.
Wow,
so
that's quite a stat.
It absolutely is. It's fantastic to see her out here shredding, and hopefully she can go ahead and continue that run of success this week at Kansas City. As we see our feature card preparing.
Some notes for the course. For any course rulings, please refer to the digital caddy book that is on the DGPT event page. Watch for orange marked tree stumps on the course. Hole 2, the map is incorrect.
While we wait for our feature card, we'll watch Allie Smith with her tap-in birdie on hole number 2.
Well, so far, both her drive on 1 and 2 has really showed how she has this course dialed.
She was confident coming into today. I spoke with her last night. She said that every single hole out here is birdieable. It's just a matter of playing within yourself, making sure that you're aggressive at the right moments and conservative when you need to be. So definitely being wise with your discs and your shot selection critical out here.
Yes, I think that's key. It's being aggressive when it's smart to be so, and holding back when not. And she, more than anyone else in the division, will know when that is the case.
Live on hole 3 with Allie Smith's tee shot.
Fantastic. This is a hole that has a 90-degree turn. Right where she landed is a perfect place to attack the pin from.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to hole 1. It is time for the feature card in round 1 of the 41st Kansas City Wide Open. First on the box, representing Innova Champion Discs from Bell Buckle, Tennessee, Holly Finley.
See that was a sharp edge disc by Holly. She's in front of those trees, so she will have a clear look at the pin. Because of the elevation loss on this hole, it is possible to throw a mid-range or even a putter to get down to that layup area.
Third on the box, representing Discmania from here in Kansas City, Missouri, our recent club champion, Casey Pennington.
Lots of local love for Casey Pennington as well.
Casey Pennington moved to the Kansas City area last year from Texas.
And finally, representing Discraft from Grapevine, Texas, Holland Hanley.
I wondered if we were going to see anybody trying to go across the water here. Coming up just a little bit short. Very interesting to see, though, even if she had made it, I'm not sure how much she gains there. She has a little bit easier approach to the green, but it's probably not going to take any strokes away by being that aggressive off the tee.
Do you think anyone in the FPO field can potentially reach the green from the tee?
You asked if anybody could reach it from I don't think anybody can actually reach the green. I think they can reach the landing area on the left-hand side, which would make it, slightly easier to approach the green. But at 575, even with the elevation loss, that's a big ask. So this course, it's called Bad Rock Creek Disc Golf Course, which might sound a little weird, but it's quite interesting. The name is from the Lewis and Clark expedition. Lewis and Clark's comrade, Sergeant Charles Floyd, referred to the creek adjacent to this park as a creek of the Bad Rock, and that's where the name came from. It's just beautiful property, rolling hills, really, really well manicured, and I love the diversity between the wooded holes and the prairie holes.
Allie's second shot on hole 3, and of course, thanks to you, Disc, for the course close-up.
So we're back on hole 1, and any tee shot that goes out of bounds plays from the drop zone. The drop zone is a tee next to, might be that bush right there. It's one of the tees for one of the easier courses. See everybody on their phone. I think they may be looking up to make sure that that's what the play is.
When in doubt, always reference the caddy book, right, Juliana?
Exactly.
What's the distance here from the drop zone?
It's about 260 feet, slightly downhill. She is safe with that.
Loving Deanne's fashion this morning. She's got the drip, as the kids say.
I'll take your word for it.
Casey's sizing up her approach.
Caught a little tree, bounced back into the OB. Over-exaggerating the necessity to have some height there to get over the wall. But she is safe and should be able to get up and down for her par quite easily. Oh, I like the height of this one. Throwing a very slow disc, almost hitting the pin as it comes through. Nicely done.
Here with Vanessa Van Dyken's second shot on hole 3.
This hole gets very skinny. She is able to make it up to the green. Nice shot.
As we see a little game of Go Fish from Holland. Allie Smith with a birdie look.
Good look at that arcing putt that she has. She has a lot of power with that putt, and it is a very safe putt. She rarely goes very far from the pin if she doesn't make it.
Lisa with her birdie attempt.
Solid putt by Lisa.
And back to hole 1. Hanley with a nice par save from the trees.
No harm done with that aggressive drive. Didn't quite have the height right there. Unfortunately, she found the downside of the green and is going to be a little bit far away.
Vanessa Van Dyken for birdie.
There's a
She
good putt
sticks
by
it.
Vanessa.
Deanne Carey with her birdie on hole 1.
I believe that's only the second birdie for the division.
Casey
Nice
Pennington. Casey Pennington putting down the comebacker. As you said, Juliana, very nice and clean. Heart of the chains. We go to Allie Smith's tee shot on hole 4.
That needs to hook up and go left. She did manage to find a nice layup area. From there, she'll have a good sidearm approach to the pin.
Taking a look at Korver's keys, Juliana, talk us through.
Sure, course management, very, very important on this course, especially with all of the out of bounds. And there are a number of holes where you actually probably want to throw a putter off the tee and then throw a faster disc to lay up to the green on your second shot. Peace of mind, you're going to make mistakes out here. This course has teeth, and you need to be able to bounce back after getting bit. And endurance, though it's not overly hot today, this course still takes a lot out of you with all of the elevation, the long holes, walking up and down. So just make sure to stay hydrated, and for me, to eat a little bit during the round and make sure you still have energy at the end of the round.
Korver's keys brought to us by Black Ink Discs, the premium disc golf store.
Hole 2, again, this is the keyhole shaped hole. It's very short, plays a little bit longer because it's uphill. If you do not land inside of the keyhole, you still play it where it lies, but you take a hazard penalty.
Almost a bit of a USDGC feel on this one.
A little bit, exactly. That's pretty high. That needs to be flat. Holland did not land inside of the keyhole. Both Deanne and Holly are safe inside. That was a fast edge disc, which surprises me a little bit because it's so short, and it was a little bit too fast, went to the right-hand side outside of the circle. Though the keyhole is so short, you can be outside of it and still be in circle 1.
Vanessa Van Dyken on hole 4 with her drive. Perhaps looking for that disc to turn over a little bit more.
That grouping of trees is about 410 feet from the pin. She has to maneuver that to get to the green. She's close enough to it that I think, and there's not really much underbrush, so she should be able to find a way to get up to the green from there.
Handley putting for 3.
This is to save par. From here, it might look like Deanne is outside of the keyhole, but there is a little front area that is still safe, and that is where she is at.
And this area inbounds, it's pretty tight. Only about the size of the circle.
Holly was not actually safe on her drive. Looked as if she was from the tee, but that was for her par save. So this is a good example how a straightforward, easy-looking hole can cause problems. We've had 3 of our 4 women in the hazard on this 200-foot hole.
Yeah, it seems looks can be deceiving, especially because this has to be one of the shortest holes on tour. Allie Smith's second shot on hole 4.
Where it's dark right there, that's where the green is. A little bit downhill slope. She'll have a look at her birdie.
Vanessa with her second.
A little low, didn't get quite all the way to the green, but remember this is a par 4, so she's in a good position to still get a par on the hole.
As we check in on our leaderboard, Allie Smith currently pacing the field here, 2 down through 3. Only 4 ladies under par at this early stage, so definitely Bad Rock seems to have the teeth that we've been warned about, Juliana.
Well, and we've got a little bit of wind today, but not a huge amount. I can't even imagine trying to play this course with double-digit wind. This is hole 3. The goal is just to get past that line of trees right there. The farther you can get past it, the easier your next shot will be. The green turns about 90 degrees to the left past that line of trees. There is a gap where Holly is flying, but she does have to worry there is OB along the left-hand side. I think she's okay. Holland was throwing a putter there, which is my choice as well on this hole. You just need to get through the gap. Unfortunately, she clipped a tree, fell down right by that line of trees.
Kansas City local Casey Pennington with the local route.
Hugging that left side, but I think she's still in bounds. There is quite a bit of elevation there, another 10 feet probably from where Vanessa was to the green.
Allie
Beautiful.
Smith with a fantastic birdie cash. Take a look at this one again. Absolutely fantastic.
That's 3 in a row for Allie. 3 out of the first 4.
She's got to be feeling good with that hot start.
Holly had to just lay up to the corner of this fairway, taking her birdie potential out of play for this hole. Holland forced to do the same thing. Deanne also not in a good position to go for the pin. Lays up as well.
Once again, early on, we're seeing the criticality of these landing zones. Emily Beach
That was
with
a
a
birdie
nice
for Emily.
downhill putt. We see Vanessa tapping in her bogey.
Basket is tucked behind those poles right there. The landing green is just over circles 1 width.
Casey Pennington taking advantage of that nice drive to land in bounds on the green here on hole 3.
Staying in bounds. Holly is on the green.
Unfortunate OB for Holland. I can't imagine this is the way she wanted to start the round.
I actually thought the sidearm was a wise choice because there's a slope going from right to left on that green, so that's a nice way to come into it. She just pulled it out too wide on the left. Nice
Hanley
correction
throws
for Holland.
5. It seems Carey was out of bounds after that approach. So she's lining up her 5th.
That's on the right side too. Once again, out of bounds for Deanne. At least this time she did fly over part of the green, it looks like, so she will be able to take it up closer to the basket.
This tall grass can bite you out at Bad Rock. Allie Smith with her drive here on hole 5.
This is one of the more difficult holes on the course.
Emily Beach getting lucky. Casey Pennington just a bit high on her birdie bid. Holly Finley converts for par. We're going to go picture in picture as we watch these tap-ins at the Kansas City Wide Open.
Should have brought some snacks.
I got you.
Ah!
I got you. I got you. I got you.
Oh, Karen, do you know where hole 17 is?
I got you!
Is that a compass? Karen, why do you have this?
Ethan, just help me. We gotta get this set up.
Okay.
It's getting dark.
Can somebody say something, please?
Thanks for spawning.
Oh, yeah.
Taking a look at the leaderboard. Allie Smith still 3 down. Vanessa Van Dyken at even. The rest of our field above par here in the early going. Bad Rock definitely playing difficult as advertised.
Hole 4, this is a 562-foot par 4. The fairway slopes down towards the basket as well as from left to right. The trees in the middle obscure the view of the pin. The trees are at about 410 feet from the tee, but with the elevation loss, players will be able to get up to that distance or even beyond if they trust their discs. I think most people will try to go to the right of this instead of the left. Here you can see where the basket is. It's down on the slope of a green protected by that big mature tree, which is about 25 feet in front of the basket.
Meeting of the minds as our feature card waits.
Holly will have that middle grouping of trees to contend with on her way down to the basket. Casey opting for the higher route. She should have a fairly open shot, but it is going to be pretty steep down to the pin.
That needs to fade out quick.
Holland fights her way through that grouping of trees. I was expecting her to pull that farther to the right to bring it out of play completely, but she is still in a very good spot to potentially get her birdie. Deanne, just on the edge of those trees, she should have a relatively open shot to the pin. So what you can't see here is there is a body of water, a very small pond that she has to traverse to get to the pin. And as one would expect from that position, she laid up to the edge so that she will be going over the water on her next shot.
Vanessa's third on hole 5. It comes up just a little bit shy. Pretty well protected green.
I don't know how close those trees are that Vanessa hit to the water. She might have ended up in the water from there. Very nice shot. Allie is on the green for her par.
Casey with the beautiful toss on hole 4.
That was actually a very difficult shot. It was a blind approach. She had to turn it around that corner as she's going downhill and trust that she wasn't going to go too far past the basket.
Looks like Holly might be considering taking a knee here for her second. Perhaps not a lot to work with here.
At least there's not a lot of underbrush in that grouping of trees, so you can at least imagine a line through there. The question is, can you hit it?
Holly just
A little bit too high. Clips a branch, yes.
Deanne in a similar position, trying to keep it low to get through this brush.
Good view of the line that Deanne is trying to hit. She clips the tree, but she still manages to make decent forward progress.
I'm sure she'll take it.
Holly does find the gap there, but she is, looks like, towards the outer edge of circle 1, putting down at the basket.
A little hot on Holland's forehand approach there.
Easy to do with that 10-foot downhill grade right there. And the green doesn't have a lot of grass, so that it does skip there.
Vanessa Van Dyken pitching up on hole 5. And Allie Smith for par.
Good course maintenance by Allie. Deanne trying to curve that putt around the tree. Misses on the left-hand side.
The dark one there on the right? I thought I got probably right here.
Holly from 25. That could have been worse. Holly missed left-hand side, but with the type of spin putt that she has, it could have gone much farther past the basket, and she is still probably about 20 away.
Holland with the solid finish here on 4. Holly hits the bogey comebacker. And now Deanne for par from near identical position.
A little bit low. It can be hard to get power on your putt when your back foot is below your front foot.
Casey with a nice birdie. We'll be back right after this message.
Because you're set to auto ISO.
The players that I've spoke to, they love the durability of it, the grip, the feel of it alone is head and shoulders above the rest of the plastic. Not just in our lineup, but across the board, in my opinion.
It's kind of unique, actually. I can definitely feel my first instinct is like, wow, that's something like I've never felt before.
Something with the Supreme plastic and the next feel technology is it's different. This isn't going to be as hard, it's going to feel good, and you're going to love throwing it.
There's something about sand that reminds us of ourselves. What were once great stones have been ground down over years and years into something so small. But sand also shows us that everything we do matters, and that together, even our smallest actions can create great dunes. Because little by little, a little becomes a lot.
Welcome back to the GRIPeq 41st Annual Kansas City Wide Open, presented by Dynamic Discs. Casey Pennington lacing the fairway on hole 5. That is not an easy tee shot, Juliana.
No, it's not. This is definitely one of the harder holes, and you really need to get down about as far as you can see before the woods on the left-hand side to have a nice clear look at the basket. The fairway turns about 90 degrees to the right.
Unfortunate tree kick late for Holland.
Very good
Fantastic
shot.
tee shot from Holly.
I think she will have a choice to make whether she's going to lay that up or actually go for the pin. There is a nice right gap here as well that, if you get far enough, can get you closer to the water's edge, making the next shot that much easier, though I don't think that is close enough.
Is the typical play to pitch up to the water's edge here before heading across?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have limited experience, but that's definitely the way I was forced to play it.
As we see Allie Smith's second here on hole 6. And Emily Beach is second, also on hole 6.
Pulled that over into the woods. That was a tough lefty turn. Didn't quite get the line that she wanted.
Allie giving it a run on her third. As we head back to hole 5.
Looking for Holland's tee shot that ricocheted to the left into the woods. Another aspect of this fairway that makes this second shot tricky is that there is kind of a mound between you and the layup zone, so you can't see the water's edge.
Looks like Holland's going to give herself a few options here.
Utilizing those long limbs to stretch out and find an opening for a sidearm approach. She's on top of the mound. She should be able to go for the green from there. Remember, Deanne took the right-hand gap and looks like she's going to have to lay up to water's edge as well. The water carry is pretty short, so you don't have to get to the edge of it all. You just need to be able to see the basket, get a clear view of the basket. The basket's also got a little bit of incline going up away from it, so it kind of feels like there's a little bit of a back stop.
Do you think we'll see Holly go for it here?
I'd like to see the view behind her. Depends on if there's a small, oh, she's in a good spot. She definitely has the option to go for it, though she's got a very tricky run up. Whenever you have an uphill run up, it really takes your power away. And I'd be worried about hitting my hand on that tree too. Very nice line. Don't hit those trees. That was a fantastic shot. I was actually holding my breath there. The tree wasn't quite as close to her swing as it looked like it was, but she managed that uphill run up beautifully, put it on the perfect line. She's just to the right of the basket, has maybe a little outside of circle 1.
As we see Emily Beach clean up for par on hole 6. Casey Pennington also just kind of pitching up.
Yeah, it's very hard to get to the point where you can see the basket on hole 5.
Allie Smith taps in for par, still bogey free here through 6.
Holland makes it over the water, no problem, but she does not get the right angle on the disc and ends up quite a bit to the right of the basket. That's going to be pretty hard to put that in the basket. You can see the tree branches on the left-hand side really came into play there. At least it made Deanne feel like she had to throw quite a bit lower, and unfortunately does not get across the water, throwing too low.
Deanne knows it's bad right out of her hand. As we see Casey's excellent approach to the basket, kind of seems like a course where you definitely want to have a short memory, keep it moving, don't dwell on those mistakes.
Exactly. That's where my one of my keys, peace of mind, came into play here, because it's going to be very hard to have such a clean card as Allie, and most likely you're going to have trouble. Just don't want it to compound into more trouble. Deanne may be hoping that there are no frogs in her approach. She does not like frogs. She is scared of frogs, so water's edge is not her favorite place.
No frogs troubling her on that one.
She may see one. Seven's a relatively new hole, so this is one that Allie doesn't have a lot of practice on. There is OB both left and right. She does not find it. There's a path. It gets closer the closer you get to the pin.
Really seems like straight shots are a big play here at Bad Rock as well.
Give it height.
Holland misses just low. You hear her say, need more height.
It's a good example of how she has no fear. I mean, she was putting from a little bit above the basket down towards the basket, and it's gonna, if it misses, it's gonna fall towards the water, though the water is a good 30 feet away, so she's probably not gonna find it, but she chastised herself for not being more aggressive on what could be a dangerous shot.
Great putt from Holly.
That was a birdie from Holly with that almost perfect drive that she had.
Take a look at the replay. It was good all the way. Holland with the uphill finish for bogey. And Deanne
Little
for
high
double
left.
bogey.
Yeah, a little high left, but it does stay in.
Casey Pennington holding her own. The locals definitely showing out here for Kansas City.
Vanessa carrying it out over the OB towards the basket. That was a pretty dangerous shot, but it looks like she has done it correctly, and she's on the green.
Allie Smith with her second shot on 7.
Dialed in.
As we see the Zuka replay, couldn't draw it up any better than that. Checking in with the leaderboard. See a couple of Kansas City folks there. Allie Smith continuing her bogey-free run at 3 down. And then Holly Finley and KC native Casey Pennington among those tied for second place at +1. Allie told me that there's an opportunity to shred on this course, and she's certainly showing that.
Holly lining up for hole 6. It's not intuitive what to throw on this hole. This hole takes about a 90-degree turn left down a valley and then back up. There are a couple of options. One is what Holly tried there, is just trying to find a route through the trees. You can also just play to the right out in the open. If you get far enough, there's a wide opening towards the basket.
Casey makes good work of the inside gap.
Decent spot to be. She's at the bottom of the valley. She'll have to fight her way through some trees, but really wherever you end up, you're going to have to maneuver the trees. That was a very aggressive take on the wide route that I was talking about, though my version was low and settling right on the grass, and she's trying to penetrate down in that alley.
We've mentioned Holland's aggressiveness multiple times on the course, Juliana. Do you think she's being too aggressive, trying to bite it off all at once here?
Well, we have just a small sample size so far, so it's hard to say. I mean, that's just the way she plays, but I do think that maybe this course does not lend itself well to such aggression. That's kind of how she lives and dies on the course, and I expect that she'll find her rhythm eventually and start making those hero shots that we sometimes expect from her. But right now, it's not doing her any favors.
What's the elevation profile on this hole? What are these ladies looking at here?
So there's a tiny little mound that they throw up to the tree line, and then there's a pretty drastic 30 feet down to the valley, and then another 25 feet up to the basket. So significant.
As we see Holly kind of on the lip of the valley here, sizing up her options.
Deep breath by Holly, getting a little frustrated with a second tree hit on her second shot here. This is that beautiful opening if you just throw straight off the tee and don't even try to penetrate into the woods. This is, if you land in the right spot, is what you're left with. And you can see the basket all the way down the end of that fairway. Holland's on the green in C1. So it's interesting. She went way high hyzer trying to go down that gap, hit the trees, and then landed right where I would have suggested the layup to be in the first place. So that aggression in that particular case didn't hurt her one bit.
No, it definitely worked out for her there.
Couple of possible routes Deanne's lining up. This one looks pretty tight. You could see her contemplating the wider gap on the right-hand side.
Allie Smith with her drive on hole number 8. She did pick up the birdie on number 7.
Hole 8's pretty straightforward. It's through the woods, as you can see.
Vanessa Van Dyken with her drive on hole 8.
Basket is just off to the left after you get through the end of the tree line. Right exactly where Vanessa threw.
Nice park job from Vanessa. We can see on the scoreboard that Allie Smith did take birdie on hole number 7. She is currently 4 down.
Holly finally had a good line to the basket, and she takes advantage, just about hits the pin as she flies just a little bit by.
Lisa Fakis preparing her drive on hole 8.
Finds her way through the right-hand side. She is on the green, probably in circle 2. Casey lining up her second shot.
Park job. Here's Allie Smith with her second shot. Lisa Fakis with her birdie look on 8.
Beautiful. Lisa's known for her long putts. Here's an example of just that.
And Vanessa with an excellent birdie after her beautiful drive through the trees.
Deanne just a little bit high on that jump putt. Right on line, though. Holland misses just low on her birdie putt.
Little frustration there from Holland.
Holly for bogey just outside of the bullseye. Not a lot of smiles right now on the lead card.
Allie Smith in the basket for par on hole 8. As we take it to break, you're watching the 41st Annual Kansas City Wide Open on Disc Golf Network.
I just got my hands on the Neutron Watt, a great new offering from MVP.
It's really reliable in the sense that you can throw it straight and it holds that straight line, but also even ripping it on Annie, you can get it to kind of gently pan, but it still has that nice glide even if you throw it on any sort of angle. It feels like the most happy hybrid between a putter and a mid, dead straight and neutral, exactly what you want.
Look at it for shots in the woods, ones that need to go dead straight through a gap and then never move and just finish right to the basket. Great approach disc for all types of players. I can't see anybody not loving the Watt.
Are you sick and tired of browsing through countless online stores for your disc golf equipment only to come up empty-handed? Look no farther. At 1010 Discs, we have a vast selection with pictures of each disc so you can find the exact one you need. We offer a wide variety of top quality brands at affordable prices, including discs, bags, accessories, and much more.
At Discraft, we don't wait to see what the future holds. We build it. The future is in your hands.
Casey Pennington sizing up her drive on hole 7.
Hole 7 through the woods the entire way. 411 feet. Beautiful shot. Nice angle. The Holland threw that pretty hard, so what you need to worry about there is that you don't skip left or right OB. The hole is on a little bit of a ridge, so the skips can be amplified and the OB comes up fast.
Little two left for Holly.
Very nice, flat, straight shot. You can see it start to skip over to the left-hand side, but it's low enough that it is safe.
Vanessa with a little bit of a scramble here on her second shot, hole 9.
Going with a forehand roller, gets out of the gap on the green. She's going to have a long putt to save her par.
And back to Holly on 7.
Very nice shot through the woods there. Ends up right underneath the pin.
We're going to roll that back with a Zuka replay. Just perfect from Holly. That's got to feel good after finding some early trouble.
Holly's typically very good through the woods. She loves wooded courses. At 411 feet, this is kind of a short par 4, but this gives you a good idea why it is a par 4, because you are most likely left with a very tricky or troublesome approach through the trees.
Casey throws her 3 to within the circle, and despite that brief spot of trouble there, Juliana, Casey is leading among the ladies on this card, playing some pretty solid golf right now.
Yeah, she's had a couple birdies in the last 4 holes, and she's able to erase the bogeys that she took on 1 and 2, and she's not trying to throw more than she's capable of, which is the key out here.
Allie Smith looking at her second shot on hole number 9.
Hole 9, though short, very difficult. It's got an uphill grade and a low ceiling.
Holland definitely giving it a bid for eagle, but I'm sure she'll be content to tap in for birdie.
Casey for par. Oh, just tickles the change on the right-hand side, doesn't grab enough, falls out right into the basket.
Deanne with a nice birdie finish. Holland and Holly both tapping in for birdie. Allie Smith with a long par save here on hole number 9.
Beautiful example of that arcing putt that she has. She has great power on that, right in the middle of the chains. She keeps her scorecard clean.
Lisa Fakis with the bogey finish on the same. And Vanessa Van Dyken also with the bogey finish on 9. Talk us through hole 8, Juliana.
Hole 8, this is one of the more straightforward holes. We have about 300 feet to the pin. You go straight through these trees. You can see exactly what you need to do. Anything that lands on the outside of the trees is going to be putting towards the basket. The basket is just slightly uphill, slightly to the left, and if you can maneuver the gap, you'll have a birdie putt. Holland's on the green. Holly was a little late on her release on the previous hole, and she's a little early on her release on this hole. She ricochets off to the right-hand side. At least she does have forward progress.
Deanne seemingly matching Holland's line. And Casey
with
Pennington with
best
the
drive
money
of the bunch,
drive.
yes. Big smile from Casey.
Allie Smith driving on hole number 10. Looks like a lot of OB on this hole, JK, that she navigated with ease.
Yes, it plays as if it's an island green, though it isn't one. And it takes a lot of courage to go for this one, but thankfully the wind is not super heavy right now, which will probably mean that most of our top females will attempt to go for the green.
Emily
joy.
Beach excited that that one put the brakes on.
Holly nearly making it all the way through on her drive. Getting close enough to the basket that she should be able to put that in for her par.
Vanessa on hole number 10. Left side, but green flag for her.
Deanne with her birdie putt. Deanne from about 50 puts that in the basket.
Let's take a look again.
Oh,
she
how
willed
interesting.
that one home.
From this angle, it looks like that was not going to go. It looked like it was way left side, but she does catch change, falls right in the basket. Holland, no problem for her birdie.
It's back-to-back birdies for both Holland and Deanne. Just a tad low for Casey. She'll still be able to tap in for par. Vanessa laying up for her par on hole 10. Allie for par as well. Going again to the leaderboard, Allie Smith continues to pace the field 4 down. We see Cadence Burge at -1. And taking a look at the rest of the leaderboard there, what stands out to you, Juliana?
Well, I want to actually talk a little bit about Cadence. She has 6 birdies on her card today, so she's really attacking a lot of these holes and doing so with great success.
Emily Beach on the tee at hole 11.
I don't envy the lefty on this hole, though. With maybe a little bit of luck, Emily finds the green. Hole 9. This is a 268-foot par 3, and you cannot tell how hard it is from this drone. Obviously, you can see that it has a couple of tight gaps that you have to hit. What you can't see is that there is a gradual uphill grade the entire way to the pin that gets more severe right here at this fence. But also this tree is very, very low. So the vertical gap that you have to hit in order to get to the basket is very precise, very small.
Yeah, I talked to a number of players who said that hole 9 is in their mind as possibly the most critical height control shot from the tee.
Holland finds her way through the gap. She's left of the second set of guardian trees, but it doesn't cause any problems, and she had a perfect height just underneath that branch. Also, very, very good shot by Deanne. This is not easy to do. A little bit off to the right and kicks even farther right.
Holly following Korver's keys for endurance. Little protein bar break.
Holly a little bit on the left-hand side, though she feels like she's dialing in that line a little bit better, and she's usually very, very good in the woods.
Let's go to Lisa Fakis on hole 11.
Hole 11 surrounded by OB, both right and left side. That looks like a very good line. The basket is on a little bit of a mound. That's why we can't see the landing of the disc there.
Yeah, Allie Smith bogey free through 10. Looks like she's set up well to remain that way. So Casey angling a little bit to get into position here. JK, what's the rough like at Bad Rock?
There are a lot of places where it is very tricky to even get behind your disc. One thing that you do need to watch out for in Kansas City is poison ivy, though thankfully I didn't see a lot of that on the course when I was there.
Good dodge. Bit of a ninja dodge from our cameraman there.
So what you can't see is not only does she have to pull it to the right, or to the left, turning it back to the right around that tree, the tree that she hit, she's also throwing uphill much more than you can tell, probably at least 10 feet to the pin. And that makes it harder to get your line correct with that behind the back shot.
Yeah, we saw that disc go 5-hole thanks to our excellent crew out here on the course.
Great. Excellent recovery shot there from Holly. Was able to get enough turn on it, get it up the hill, and I think she's on the edge of circle 1.
Casey lining up her next shot thanks to Kyle's expert dodge.
See that vine on the tree behind Casey? There's a good chance that's poison ivy. Even though it's dead, I would still not touch that. Nice sidearm approach by Casey.
Emily Beach with a nice uphill finish for birdie here at 11. Lisa Fakis looking for the same.
Frustrating. Lisa puts it on top of the basket and it stays there. Little low for Deanne's birdie putt. Holly for par just outside of circle 1. Little low right for Holly. She will have a comeback putt for her bogey.
Nice birdie finish for Holland to bring her back to even par. Her third straight.
That's 3 in a row for Holland.
Casey cleaning up.
Now there's a bit of a walk over to hole 10 as Deanne taps in her par.
Allie Smith looking for birdie on hole 11. And she would tap that in for par. You're watching the 41st GRIPeq Kansas City Wide Open on Disc Golf Network, presented by Dynamic Discs.
All the scoring that we do in our sport now is all digital. Having some sort of backup power source is going to be really important. You feel that it's good quality product. And having the stash pack that holds the cable that connects to any device, it just works. And so that's why this thing really works for me.
Disc golf education is important because it prolongs the length of our sport and the popularity of our sport. And the most receiving of disc golf is children. So if we get that introduced to them young, they might grow up to be the next Paul Macbeth or the next Paige Pierce, and we don't know it.
Great Lakes Disc, located in Grand Rapids, Michigan, is a fully stocked retail disc golf store that fulfills all of your disc golf needs. We carry all of the major manufacturers, accessories, and offer player and event sponsorship, along with tournament payout assistance. To learn more about Great Lakes Disc, visit greatlakesdisc.com.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, we're in Liberty. We had an amazing time. Yeah, I'll send you some photos now. The facilities were great, and the weather was gorgeous. You'd be so proud. They played hard. We got great food afterwards and went through a museum. Of course, they wanted a treat, and they wore themselves out at the pool. It's been a really great weekend. You'll have to join us next time.
Welcome back to the Kansas City Wide Open coverage on Disc Golf Network. A little bit of a backup here.
a different game.
You mean like going quicker or
slowing down?
Got a little bit of a backup here on hole number 12.
really fast?
Kind of to be expected, hole 12 is a long par 4 through the trees.
As Holland prepares her drive on hole 9. Sorry, hole 10.
So the trick on hole 10 is, at least for this top card, not whether or not you can get the distance, it's whether or not you can stop it before you get to the OB behind the basket.
How deep is that peninsula roughly, JK?
Well, it's 336 feet. The start of the safe part of the green is at about 300, but it's very slightly downhill, so it plays a little bit shorter than that.
As we see Deanne leak just out of bounds.
There is kind of a bailout landing zone on the left-hand side. You can Kaiser something over there and be safe.
Casey will go ahead and clear.
Very nice shot by Holly.
Let's go to a Halal Guy's spicy replay, the spicy shot of the day. As we see Holland's drive. Spicy buzzes the basket, but unfortunately a little bit too much spice on that one as it squeaks out of bounds.
Lisa now on the tee of 12. Very nice line. I like that a lot. It needs to stay straight. Gets a good kick back out into the fairway.
And our leader, Allie Smith.
Hugging the right side. Oh, she just clipped those trees and it changed the the direction of her disc a little bit. Otherwise, that looked like it was going to be nicely down the fairway.
Back to hole 10 where Deanne Carey's putting for 3.
Oh, Casey on the right-hand side of the chains again. That one looked like it had enough that it could have stayed in the basket, but it does fall out to the right. This is a circle 2 uphill putt, but she does get good height on it. That's frustrating.
Definitely
Maybe
frustrating on a close
maybe that was
miss
an
there.
inch to the right, but that could have stayed. Can see that there is some wind to contend with here. Holland missing on the left-hand side, hits chains, does not stay in. And now that we see those flags moving, I understand why Casey's fell out on the right-hand side too. It hit the chains, went flat to the wind, and the wind pushed it right on out. Oh, Holly hits the tray, gets on edge, rolls towards the OB. It looks like it was going to stand up and get into the OB, but I think she still has a fraction of safety under her disc, which means that she is safe, though she is frustrated. Another miss for Holly.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of frustration so far today. This course definitely seems to get in your head a little bit.
Well, there are a lot of actually, Deanne just about hit the center pool and jumped out, but she did stay in the basket. There's a lot of OB on this course, and even with a slight wind, and I bet our wind is probably close to double digits right now, that's definitely enough to make these otherwise challenging but doable shots very, very tricky.
Allie Smith with her second shot here on hole number 12.
Okay, she takes a forehand shot and she doesn't try to bite off the entire way. She gets most of the way there. Vanessa throwing a little bit more aggressively finds herself in trouble on the left-hand side. This is a par 4. These are their second shots. You can see the basket out there on the open. That is a beautiful line for Lisa through the trees, right by the pin.
Yeah, Lisa definitely putting the right move on that one.
Hole 11, this is a 286-foot par 3. There are a couple small windows about 50 feet off the tee through the trees. If you take a run up from the back left to the front right, I think it opens up the middle window nicely. What you can't tell is this slightly uphill. There is OB on both the right and left-hand side, and the path through the trees actually points you towards the OB on the right-hand side. So you need to throw something that's stable enough that it's going to climb up to the left.
As we see Casey Pennington's shot within the circle here. Great drive.
Very well done. Takes the straight gap. The basket is on a little bit of a ridge. Holland opting for the much wider right gap, though it can be hard to keep that one from the OB on the left. She has done so. She looks to be inside of circle 1.
Excellent drive from Deanne there at the base of the mound.
It looked like Holly hit her line, but she was throwing a very understable disc that flipped up and just faded off to the right-hand side, OB.
Allie Smith's second shot on hole 12.
Actually, this is her third. I think she does just get outside of the woods there. She's going to have a long putt to save her par.
Holly's hoping to get off the schneid here a little bit. Having some difficulty early.
Doesn't look like Holly gave that one an attempt. She put it right under the basket. She'll be tapping in for her bogey.
Here's Vanessa for 3.
Very nice maneuvering that sidearm past that last protecting tree.
Holland squaring up her birdie look. Great finish. Sweet like Kansas City barbecue.
Holland with 4 of the last 5 holes. Coming on strong now.
She's climbed all the way into solo second.
There we go.
Casey with a good finish for birdie.
Yeah, that time the right-hand side stayed right in the basket as you would expect.
Yeah, compared to the wind that we saw on the previous green, it looks like this is pretty calm here. So pretty dynamic conditions across the course. Deanne with her birdie finish. Yeah, so calm that we're hearing crickets in the mix on this one. Allie Smith lining up for par here on hole 12.
Very good attempt. Had the height, just a little bit off on the left-hand side.
Vanessa with a nice finish for her par. Lisa with an awesome birdie. And Allie Smith tapping in for her first bogey of the day here on hole 12. Still 3 down and in sole possession of first place. Speaking of, take a look at the leaderboard thus far. Allie in first with 3 under par. Holland has clambered back to even, and you see the rest of the leaderboard as we take it to break here at the 41st Kansas City Wide Open.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, gyro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
Welcome back to Disc Golf Network's coverage of this Silver Series event, the Kansas City Wide Open.
We're watching the lead card now. Throw on hole 12. This is a 543-foot par 4. That looks very, very nice. You want to follow the mulch line. Wow, Holland threw that so far that she went past what I would consider the turn in the corner, and she fell down into the left-hand side of the fairway. She's going to have trees to contend with, but she is way down there.
Yeah, Holland definitely showcasing that aggression there.
Though this hole falls off to the left, you really do not want to go left on your drive because it makes for a much tougher line to the basket.
The rough day continues for Holly.
Yeah, she's still having a hard time dialing in her line. A little bit on the right-hand side there. She hits a very early tree and kicks to the right.
Let's take a look at Holland's drive again. Absolutely pipes it. Flips up, flies straight, and that's exactly what happened there.
Way down the fairway. So the first part of this fairway is slightly downhill. And then it turns not quite 90 degrees to the left. And then slowly starts working its way back uphill. And the basket is out in the clearing. That was a very good shot by Holly. She didn't try to go too far, which she could have found more trouble if she had done so. She's now in the open, and she should be able to follow the fairway from there.
Allie Smith with her drive on hole 13. She appears to stay safe, but I'm seeing a lot of tall grass.
Yes, there's a lot of OB on this particular hole, and Allie played to the first layup area and then attacked the pin from there.
Holly after her pitch out on 12.
Oh, Holly gets another tree kick. I thought her line was really good there. It was just a little bit too high, clipped that tree, kicked way to the right, but then it looks like it kicked back left. So at least she's close to the designated fairway there.
I've heard some folks compare the open holes here to Pickard Park. Obviously, of course, that you're well familiar with, Juliana.
Yeah,
These wooded holes. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I thought the same thing when I was playing it, that those holes out in the open with the tall grass reminded me of Pickard as well.
Is there a course we play on tour here that these wooded holes remind you of?
Oh. What's different about these wooded holes is that we have some elevation with them as well. And like our North Carolina wooded holes, they're usually very, very flat. So it's an extra layer of difficulty in figuring out the angles that you want to throw.
Perhaps a pinch of Idlewild, maybe?
Yeah, I could see that. Maybe not quite as steep as the drop-offs at Idlewild, but yeah, there's a little bit of that.
Deanne center fairway from a knee. As a North Carolina
Nice
golfer,
control, right in
she's
the
no
middle.
stranger to those wooded holes. Allie Smith lining up her par on 13.
Just hits the rim, does not stay in. Her second blemish on her scorecard, though that is still by far the best of the bunch today.
Back to Deanne Carey on hole 12.
Beautiful approach. She is just outside the bullseye. She'll be putting for her par. Holland definitely able to get out the gap with her second shot. She'll be inside of circle 1, putting back the basket for her birdie.
Holly Finley throwing 4.
Once again, Holly hits a tree not too far from her stance.
Let's take a look at Hannah Wynn, currently tied for third, with a solid scorecard thus far, sitting at +1 through 15. Allie Smith taps in for bogey. Back-to-back, but she's still sitting atop the leaderboard. 2 strokes clear of Holland.
Beautiful turnaround approach there by Casey.
She'll be looking at par here on her next, holding strong at T3 at the moment.
She knew it the second she let go of it. Little low, little right.
Seems like the breeze might be back a little bit here on this hole as well.
Yeah, she did have a headwind. She might have thought she was going to get a little bit of lift there and didn't.
Deanne Carey cleans up for par.
Wind is no problem for Deanne.
Over to Lisa Fakis on hole 14. She has 3 birdies through her last 6 holes.
This is a really fun hole. It almost does a U-turn coming back way over to the right. You can see there's a significant left to right slope to the green, and also it slopes down to the basket, and the basket is on water's edge.
Vanessa Van Dyken with her drive.
Little 2-bit long for Vanessa there, though you do want to get close to that left-hand side to have a better look down the alley towards the basket. Ooh, skirting with the OB there, but staying safe. She's farther up the hill, but again, with the elevation, she'll have no trouble getting to the pin if she chooses to.
Back to hole 13, Casey Pennington.
Hole 13, this is 364 feet, it's a par 3. There's a landing zone that we just saw Casey hit. And I suspected as much that we were going to see Holland going for the green on this.
Red flag, unfortunately, for Holland.
Layup for Deanne. This plays even farther than the 364 that it's listed because it is uphill. And it also seems blind because of the tall grass. It's very hard to see past that first landing zone. Very good shot for Holly.
Our leader, Allie Smith, on hole 14.
Oh,
Allie
perfect.
with
You
a
can see just
gorgeous
how well
drive.
she's lined up with the basket right there. I don't think she pulled that over enough. There is OB along the left-hand side, and there is OB long as well.
Unfortunately, Vanessa's drive is going to go long into that pond. Allie
Hole
with the
14.
forehand approach. That's definitely where she wants to be.
Yeah, you can tell that she's had a lot of experience on this. This hole is 582 feet. Back to hole 13.
Oh,
my goodness.
Deanne with the run. We're going to go ahead and roll back that Zuka replay. Deanne wanted to see it. She ran out from the other side of the tall grass and watched it doink just off the cage.
Nice gentle approach by Casey. Puts it right under the pin. You mentioned that Allie said that every hole out here is birdieable. This is one that I wouldn't try to birdie. It's just a little bit too much for me, especially with the blind landing.
Yeah, I feel you'd have to be pretty aggressive to go for this one.
Though if I had Holland's distance, I might think twice.
You and me both. Just a simple pitch for Holland. She'll find herself under the basket as well.
Holland puts her approach right under the pin. That will be a bogey because of her OB on her drive. Wow, Holly almost put that one in as well.
Here's Vanessa Van Dyken lining up on 14 after her shot leaked into the pond.
Oh, so close on that elevated basket, and she is looking up at that basket to begin with because of the slope of the land. So that was commendable for getting it up high enough to be over the rim. Unfortunately, it didn't stay in.
Allie Smith, unfortunately, just low here on 14.
It's easy to do because it's down towards the water with an elevated basket. It's scary to putt on that.
It's pars for our feature card, except for Holland. We'll take a bogey after that out-of-bounds stroke.
Hole 14. This hole is so fun and interesting. It's 582 feet. It's a par 4. It's a big swooping right-hand turn. You could see how the land slopes down to the right-hand side. Oh, and by the way, there's OB in the tall grass and OB in the woods on the right-hand side. But what's so fun about this is because of the elevation loss, I threw a putter off the tee to the corner, and then I turned around and I threw a putter into C1 by the basket. Now, mainly that was because I was scared of the water and I didn't want to throw too long, but it's, I love throwing putters, and it's just fun to be able to throw something slow, long like that. And you need to be very careful with this one because the green is fast. The green is very, very fast. The OB, it's about 30 feet behind it, but it is sloped enough that anything that misses, especially with the fact that it's an elevated basket, will bring the water into play.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go in that described as big, yucky Missouri pond by our leader, Allie Smith.
Yeah, it can be hard to get your disc out of there again, I think.
Fellow Kansas City native Casey Pennington first off the tee. Nice shot for Casey in the center.
Oh my goodness, what is she lining up?
Deanne taking a big swing.
Going over the rough. Wow. Okay, now I want to go play the hole again. I didn't know that was there. What a fun shot going up and over that rough. A daring shot as well because the landing zone is pretty skinny.
Fantastic drive from Deanne.
I wouldn't have thought about it on my own, trust me.
More traditional route by Holly. Looks like she's in a good spot. Beautiful position for Holland.
And let's take a look once again at the Sunstein patent pending play of the day. Deanne Carey's drive over the woods in the fairway. It's safe. If that shot wasn't patented before, definitely should. That's today's Sunstein patent pending play of the day.
What a fun drive.
So much more distance. And I was like, I don't know about that. And I threw like 6 of them OD long until I actually figured out how to throw it.
Yeah. So just like zone.
Well, I also didn't know how long this was.
As we listen to Deanne here evangelizing the merits of that unorthodox tee shot, go to Lisa Fakis on 15.
Lisa with a safe right route. The basket is very close to the water. It's going to be very hard to birdie from that position, but she takes the water out of play. This time,
good tree.
This time a tree kick keeps Holly inbounds. She pulled that sidearm over a little too much. It looked like it was going to end up in the tall grass, but she finds that tree and kicks her back to safety.
I can take that one. Yes, thank you.
Okay, Allie's
Smith
lining
on
up.
15.
Yes, this is the more aggressive line. It's potentially the only way to get under the pin, but it flies over the water.
And Holland Handley with her upshot. She likes it here on 14.
Be interested to see if she goes for that putt. She's middle of circle 2, looking down at the water.
Maybe a bit too zesty for me, Juliana, but Holland, I don't know.
Well, exactly. Yeah, there's no way I'd go for that one, but Holland.
Casey definitely seems to play it safe there. Gets a little good skip at the end.
Makeable but scary putt for Casey coming up. Yeah, it's easy to leave this approach short because you're cautious about the water behind.
Allie Smith clearing the pond here on 15.
Allie will be left with a drop-in par.
Taking a look at that one more time.
Allie's
Right where you
sidearm
wanna be.
approaches have been spot on today.
Yeah, the forehand definitely seems to be a valuable asset out here today. Holly giving a good run.
Oh, brave effort by Deanne. It gave me anxiety just looking at that putt, looking out over the water, knowing just how steep that green is, and that basket is higher than it looks. It doesn't look like it's necessarily that high, but it is significantly higher than normal. Another good attempt by Holland, hitting chains but not staying in the basket.
Yeah, hole 14 definitely visually imposing on the death putt here for sure. Casey maybe with a baby bid there, but she'll be able to drop in for par. Holly Finley, cool as a cucumber with that spin putt to finish out.
So it looks like you needed to be named Hannah in order to birdie that hole today. Both Hannah Wynn and Hannah Stefanovic. They were our only birdies on hole 14.
Allie Smith with her tap-in par. Lisa also with her par finish. And Juliana, tell us about your Korver's keys for closing today.
Okay, I think it's important to throw with intention. You need to stay focused, trust your lines, and don't take anything for granted. Don't be tempted by the hero shot. This specifically comes into play on 18, which we'll see shortly. And my last one, take a breath, take a drink. Not as important because we're not faced with 90 degrees and 90% humidity today, but still make sure that you have enough energy to finish strong.
Korver's keys are brought to you by blackinkdiscs.com, the premium disc golf store.
Hole 15, this is 288 feet. It is a par 3. There are two distinct paths. This is the more dangerous one. This is the one that you really need to take if you want to get to a birdie, but it brings the water into play. If you clip one of these trees, it'd be very easy to hit the water. We saw Allie go on this route and lay up and then lay up again, which was a very nice way to go for a par. If you take the right hand gap, it's a little bit easier off the tee, but your second shot might be a little bit trickier, and it's pretty much going to be impossible to get a birdie from the right hand side, but you also won't bring the water into play on the right hand side.
Is forehand the preferred line over the left-hand side, you think?
I'm guessing we're going to see Holland go forehand and everybody else go backhand.
Casey looks to be lining up the safe routes to the right.
It's a little tighter than she wanted, but she's up there close enough that she's got maybe a circle 2 putt.
Nice drive from Casey Pennington, who's sticking around today, sitting at tied for third. Kansas City definitely showing up for the KC Wide Open.
That's the expected path on the right-hand side. She should have an easy hyzer approach for a drop-in par. little bit of a faster disc. Got caught up on the right-hand side, but she should also have a pretty simple approach shot there. Oh, we're going to see a backhand, not a forehand. That forehand, for me, just seems very scary.
Holland maybe a little long, caught up in the rough a little bit as well, but to get out of there, no problem. Lisa Fakis on hole 16.
There is OB left, but it is a pretty wide landing zone, so it's going to be hard to find that, I think. Key here is to get as high on that hill as you can. It's 456 feet, but it plays much farther than that.
Emily Beach likes it. Great distance. Our leader, Allie Smith, lines it up.
Fading a little bit left. Can't tell. I think she definitely has a shot at being safe there.
Deanne squeaks through the trees.
The nice thing about this green is there's nice lush grass underneath it, so you don't need to worry about skipping on your approach.
Allie Smith buzzing the basket with her second.
Little tree love there with Holland, putting her right at bullseye. Casey's going to try to prove me wrong that you're not going to be able to birdie from the right-hand side. And she does.
Casey, instant replay on this one. Absolute money. Casey, a financial advisor for startups by day. Disc golf is a hobby for her, one that she clearly does exceptionally well. So hopefully you'll forgive me when I say that putt was cash. Deanne taking a swing at the chains there. Emily Beach, hole 16. And we'll be back right after this break.
Repetitive stress injuries are one of the most common reasons that disc golfers have to take time off from playing the sport they love. With the average disc golf bag weighing up to 25 pounds, this can add up to over 2,000 pounds of accumulated stress on your body during a single round. A cart gives you the ability to bring what you need on the course without the repetitive heavy lifting. This reduces the number of stress points you experience during a round, keeping you at your best.
One of my favorite memories growing up was a trip I took with my dad to Hawaii. We just got done with a round of disc golf and decided to listen to the Grateful Dead. Without saying anything, we both knew we needed to dance, and that's exactly what we did. Sometimes you just need to stop and enjoy the music.
Welcome back to the 41st Kansas City Wyatt Open. Right before we went to break, Holland.
Oh my gosh. You know, she seems to get an unfair amount of those. That wasn't too hard. It did hit the center pole, but there's no reason for that to jump back out.
Yeah, tough break for Holland for sure. As we see Casey Pennington lining up her drive here on 16.
Very nice drive. Hole 16, this is 456 feet with 20 feet of elevation gain. No matter how far you get up the fairway, you are not going to be able to see the bottom of the basket. So there's a little bit of a blind landing zone. Hopefully you get up high enough that you can see the flag on the top of the basket. This is an opportunity for Holland to really utilize her strength and her distance.
Smushed
Well
to the
up the
top of the
fairway,
hill
that
in
will
the
help
short
her
grass.
to see more of the basket and give her a better indication how hard to throw her second shot.
Let's head on over to hole 16, where Lisa Fakis is putting for birdie. Tough lip out. And our leader, Allie Smith, also putting for birdie.
Oh, just a little bit low for Allie as well.
Do you think that's fatigue, Juliana?
Possibly. I would have said definitely yes if it were a 90-degree day.
Nice birdie for Vanessa Van Dyken. A good bright spot for her.
There is a significant slope on this green, so Allie's previous shot was significantly uphill. Very hard to know how to throw this, or how hard to throw this next shot. I believe Deanne was unable to even see the flag on top of the basket from where she landed. Both of those shots hugging the right side, trying to hyzer into the basket, maybe so that they don't fly so far past as the topography slopes significantly down following the basket.
Casey with a nice upshot. Holland will skip up to
Well done by
just
Holland.
inside circle one. Slight backup on hole 17. Give
Seeing
the card a
everybody's
chance to
fiddling
collect their
skills.
thoughts.
Good effort by Deanne. A little bit of a scary shot there, going downhill at the basket.
Casey sizing up her birdie putt from circle one. Just a hair to the right.
Wide right for Casey's birdie attempt. Holland making sure that one stays in the basket.
Sometimes it just needs a little encouragement.
Holland's now tied for fourth, 3 off the lead.
Tough miss for Casey. We'll see on the other side of the break, right here on the GRIPeq Kansas City Wide Open Disc Golf Silver Series on Disc Golf Network.
So the Supreme line is going to be the next generation of plastic that's going to allow players to take their game to the next level.
Yeah, the first 4 discs that are going to be released in the Supreme Series are going to be our first 4 original molds: the Judge, the Trespass, the Fugitive, and the Escape. All of the Supreme Series molds They're actually brand new PDJ approved molds that are designed for the specifics that we believe our players are asking for today.
Come on!
Unbelievable.
You missed that, you're going out of bounds easily.
He's going for the eagle in these conditions. He parked that.
And there it is. Look at that big beast.
Trilogy Challenge is back, y'all. You get 3 discs.
The Retro Orbit Pure.
Tournament Ice Orbit Warship.
Fusion Ice Orbit Vandal. Are you ready to hit the course with these 3 discs?
Go check out thrilljchallenge.com.
Welcome back as we see hole 17, Vanessa Van Dyken with her drive.
Beautiful shot by Vanessa. This wooded hole turns almost 90 degrees to the left. You don't really want to cut it off to the left because it is very well protected, and much better to go a little bit straighter like Vanessa did, and then turn that 90 degrees and throw up the hill towards the basket.
Lisa Fake is sizing her shot up. Our leader, Allie Smith.
I think she's in a good position there.
Van Dyken's second shot.
You can see how no matter where you end up, you're going to have to maneuver through these trees to get to the basket.
Allie with a tree kick, I believe, into
Missed
the
her
right
line
side.
a little bit. She's off to the right in the woods. Excellent approach by Lisa.
As our lead card waits here on hole 17. Nice moment of downtime. Check the social media. Check in with encouragement from family and friends, I imagine. Perhaps a peek at the scoreboard as well, particularly if you're Casey Pennington, still sitting T3. Lots of stuff coming up for folks on Disc Golf Network, the home of live disc golf. Go ahead and bring out your phone, scan that QR code, subscribe today. We have so much content coming up in the next month. As I'm sure many of you watching this are aware. A number of folks are in Europe right now. We're getting ready to do a big European swing. Sweden, Norway, Finland, all the Scandinavian countries, all of that coverage can be found on Disc Golf Network. Thanks for watching on YouTube today, and go ahead and subscribe to continue to receive this fantastic coverage here at DGN. Allie's third on hole 17.
Allie does find a way out of those woods. She's just outside of circle one, it looks like. She's going to have a little bit of a tester to maintain her par there.
We see the lead card preparing to tee off on hole 17, just waiting for the group in front to clear. If you're Holland Hanley, you definitely want to make sure that group in front is clear, just in case you happen to mash it all the way down there.
Well, I like that she's massing a putter right here. She misses her line on the right, ricochets to the left. There's a tight gap about 50 feet off the tee that you just need to get past and then work from there, and she did not get past it. Deanne splits the gap. She also ricochets off a tree, but I think she's far enough down the fairway that she'll be able to figure out a line to the pin. Very well done by Holly. Like to see her hitting the line there.
Yeah, she seems to have stabilized in recent holes here, which is good to see. Allie Smith putting for par here on 17.
There we go. Just outside of circle one in the basket for par.
You love to see it. Lisa
Great
Fakis with a
birdie.
pretty routine putt for two.
17 is not an easy hole to get, no matter where your drive ends up.
Vanessa Van Dyken cleans up her par.
Holland was forced to throw a sidearm shot to the turn in the fairway, and it looks like she's put herself in a good position. Okay, here you can see hole 17. It is 461 feet. It is a par 4. Here's the gap that you need to get through, and the farther down the fairway, the better. If you end up on the left-hand side, you're really pinched off. You want to go straight without going beyond into the rough. But no matter where you end up here, as you turn to the left and face the pin, you are going to definitely have to maneuver through these trees. And the slope of the land also goes up right about here towards the basket. So this is a very tricky shot. You need to be a little bit lucky, I guess, that you have a good line to the basket, because from the tee, you cannot tell. Maybe Allie can, she's played it so many times, but you can't really tell the distance that you need to find that spot through the trees.
Casey seems to have found her way off the fairway here. Brilliant out with the patent pending. We see Vanessa Van Dyken's drive on hole 18. Previously, Lisa Fakis did not birdie hole 17. That was, in fact, a par, which keeps her tied for third at 1 over.
Ooh, very tricky attempt through the trees there for Deanne, and she ricochets left. That might be ugly.
Lisa Fakis preparing her drive here on hole 18. Nice follow through, little flourish. Back to the woods on hole 17. Holland with a little consultation with her caddy.
It's Holland's third shot. Not bad, just outside of circle 1. Pin high. Holly had a beautiful drive. She's still got a tricky approach here. Unable to get through cleanly. Kicks off to the left-hand side. She should still be able to get up and down for her par.
Over to hole 18 and Allie Smith's drive. Juliana, you mentioned it might get ugly for Deanne, and it looks like it may have.
Hard to tell where the basket even is, much less how far away it is.
Casey sizing up her third.
Yes, her third throw after that beautiful behind the back. Great shot, just outside of the bullseye.
Not over yet. Said it's not over yet. So far, so good.
Allie Smith with her second shot on hole 18.
There's a lot going on 18, so she's trying to hit this landing zone that you can see that short grass right there, and she does so perfectly.
Looks like Deanne Carey searching for a line. Seems her scramble didn't quite go the way she hoped. That one sure did, though.
After all of that, she'll have an opportunity to save her bogey with that putt.
I wouldn't recommend that, she says. Holly trying out different stances to try and get her out of the left-hand side here.
Holly's able to find the path to the basket, leaves it about 20 feet short.
Holland sizing up her putt as we see our leaderboard in the corner.
Holland misses again on the right-hand side. That was for her par.
Good finish for Holly uphill.
Beautiful par putt by Holly.
Deanne with an excellent job of limiting the damage on hole 17. She's only going to take a bogey. Allie Smith inside circle one with her approach. And how about the Kansas City girl today? Juliana, she has been tearing it up on the course.
She really has. She started out so strong. with such a great drive right here, putting this underneath the pin. 3 in a row from 2 to 4. She had a little bit of trouble later on in the round, but it looks like she's found her groove again, and she is on the green to finish strong with another birdie.
Allie, one of only 2 players under par so far today. Showcasing some of that local knowledge.
This course
Fantastic
probably,
putt at 9.
Yeah, I think this course more than most really benefits somebody who has played it quite a bit, because there are so many locations that are blind and so many locations where maybe going off to the left or the right is worse than the other and it's not intuitive from a specific spot. So yeah, course knowledge definitely coming into play here.
As we mentioned near the top of the show, Allie Smith learned to play disc golf here at Bad Rock.
Beautiful finish.
Our clubhouse leader now at -3. Can't beat a nice birdie finish on the last. Vanessa taps in for her par. And Lisa for hers. Live on the hole 18 tee pad, Holly Finley.
What you can't tell so much, you can see here, there's a very big uphill component to this very first shot. Distance is not that important on the first shot, but positioning is. There are a couple of gaps to get to the landing zone.
All 4 of our feature card ladies appear to be set up pretty well for their second shot.
Here we go. This is hole 18. It's 749 feet. It is a par 5. The goal for the first shot is just to land somewhere up on this ridge that hopefully gives you a position to go through that tree line that is just on the right-hand side. You have to fly over or through the trees or over the tall grass, and you can see where it's cut out. That is the landing zone. So hopefully your second shot lands here, and then you have what plays like an island green. It's actually not an island green. There is a safety on the right-hand side, but nobody's going up that way. So you're throwing over tall grass again, and the green is pretty skinny from front to back. The OB on the front is about at 30 feet, and on the back it's at 20 feet. There is a slight uphill grade to the green, but it can still be hard to find that particular safe zone.
Let's take a look at Hannah Wynn's scoreboard. Sitting in solo second place right now at -1. Other than Allie Smith, the only other competitor that we have under par today, Juliana.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see Hannah doing well out here. One of the first times that I played on a card with her was in Delwood in south of Chicago, which is sort of a similar course with open and woods, and she did very well winning that event.
Casey trying to position herself for lead card tomorrow. A little bit of wobble out of the hand, but she's in the short grass, and she'll take that, I'm sure. Yeah, Juliana, it was nice to see Kansas City Casey sticking around here down the stretch. She's played really well, just kind of consistently today, and some really excellent birdies along the way.
Casey has played very well today, and we've seen her miss 3 or 4 putts that could have stayed in. So if she had had those fall the other way, she would be fighting for the lead right now.
Deanne, with just the right amount of turns, she'll be safe in the landing zone.
Safe, but they're on the back side of that landing zone, which is going to make the next shot a little bit tougher.
How far uphill are we looking at for approaches from the backside of the LZ there?
At least 10 feet. Probably more like 14 or so. I mean, the landing zone itself is on a slope, and from the middle, it's about 10 feet. But you also have to keep in consideration the fact that the tall grass obscures the front line of the green. So you can't really tell exactly how far you have to go. And there's about 3 feet past the tall grass that is still out of bounds. So if you're using that as a metric, it can kind of play with your head a little bit too.
To your point, Holly bringing out the rangefinder.
She's got good height on that. I don't believe Holly made it to the green there. I think she was short.
Casey,
Nice
happy to be
control
in the
there by
short
Casey.
grass. Absolutely, Juliana, and I'm a little bit surprised to see so many competitors over par. Definitely playing tough out here at Bad Rock, but Allie Smith tried to sell me that this course was highly scoreable, and I guess if your name is Allie Smith, it is, but for everyone else, seems to be a bit of a challenge.
Well, you mentioned that Allie said that every hole out here was birdieable, but she didn't say every hole was easy to birdie.
Indeed. Definitely showcasing her skills. Looks like Hannah Wynn once again in the clubhouse at 1 under. She's going to finish on lead cart. Deanne safe as well on her upshot. JK, anything surprising for you today during the round? Anything that struck you as a bit out of the ordinary that you weren't necessarily expecting?
What surprised me the most was Deanne's shot on 14 over the middle part of the fairway. That was a very fun surprise. I guess I expected to see maybe a few more birdies by the top card. We had a lot of trouble in the woods, and not a lot of wind. We saw some wind on hole 10, but other than that, it hasn't really been a major factor. So I was expecting a little bit better play, but we've talked about it. This course just has a lot of danger, and it can compound. If you have a little bit of trouble, it might make you think twice, and then your line's a little bit off, and then you find even more trouble.
As we see Holly safe. Yeah, compounding, avoid. Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake. She is out of bounds.
So that's an example of that tall grass not being right at the edge of the OB line there. So it looked like she was safe based on the tall grass, but in this case, not so.
And it appears she's going to rethrow.
That one is definitely safe. But unfortunately, 3 OB penalty strokes so far for Holly on this hole.
Yeah, to your point, JK, limiting that compounding damage seems to be the primary aim of the course today, and unfortunately, it seems like it's gotten some of our competitors. As we watch our feature card walk up to the hole 18 green. Holly recapping some of the frustration for her.
Do you know if the yellow one crossed in bounds?
Never crossed.
They might be asking if somebody thinks that crossed the plane of safety before.
Yeah, unfortunately, the spotter indicates that he did not believe that the disc crossed inbound beforehand. So that one was OB the whole way, it seems. Casey Pennington will finish in the clubhouse at even par, and she will be on our lead card coverage tomorrow. Great showing for Casey. Holland squeaks that one in right side to finish at +1. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. We're going to scroll through and see how everybody did today. Only 3 competitors at even par or below. Allie Smith in the lead, Hannah Wynn at 1 under, Casey Pennington finishing at even par. And strong showing as well for Lisa Fakis and Holland Handley, both finishing at +1. And a lot of fun out there on the course today, JK. Perhaps a little bit higher scores than we were initially anticipating. Definitely some high numbers as we scroll down there. But, that's the way it goes sometimes out at Bad Rock.
There's a lot of trouble to be had out here, and many of these women are playing this for the first time. Not the first time right now, but for the first time this week. And there's a lot of blind shots. There's a lot of out of bounds. So I would think that if the conditions stay relatively good, we will see scores improving, and hopefully some of those bogey strokes, or not as many bogey strokes as we move through the weekend.
Absolutely. The Kansas City natives definitely tore it up today. Both Casey Pennington and Allie Smith on lead card for tomorrow's coverage. Way to represent for Kansas City. I know there's a lot of folks back home there who are pretty proud of those ladies today. So our OTB shot of the day, for me, I think it absolutely has to be Deanne Carey's drive on hole 14.
Well, Allie had a couple of really long putts, so it might be one of those as well.
Let's take a look.
Excellent.
Absolutely spectacular. Deanne showing lines that we didn't know existed out over the OB, landing on a pretty narrow fairway, completely blind. Just so much to like about this, Juliana.
Actually, I really hope to see that we have somebody else trying to throw this tomorrow, now seeing that this is a possibility.
That's a cheater route, Deanne. Hey,
you'll throw that hyzer, but not the one on the left.
I didn't try it, so I don't know if I can
throw that hyzer, but not the one on the left.
Stay tuned for the coverage of the men's feature cards beginning at 3 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 4 o'clock Eastern, right here on Disc Golf Network. Thank you so much for joining us on coverage today. I'm Craig Caswell. My partner is Juliana Korver, and it's been a pleasure.